And so that's what it is. Live in this life as if it's your last. Sayyidina Ali once said about this world in which we live, about earth, he said, هِيَ دَارٌ مَنْ صَحَّ فِيهَا السَّقَمْ وَمَنْ أَمِنَ فِيهَا النَّدَمْ. This is an abode. Whoever is healthy in this place is actually safe. And whoever is safe and secure in this place is the one who is at risk. Because in that there is ghafla, there is a delusion. The moment we feel safe and secure from the plan of Allah is where our destruction is. But we never allow ourselves to be in that position. We're always working, we're always trying, until the moment we meet Allah. Until we breathe our last breath. That's the wiser person, that's the wisest person. Brothers, in the Quran, Allah gives an example and Allah says, وَلَقَدْ ذَرَأْنَا لِجَهَنَّمْ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. Allah has prepared the hellfire for many of the humans and many of the jinn. Why is that, brothers and sisters? Why is that the case? Allah says, لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. It's because they have hearts. It's because they have hearts, but they don't use those hearts. Allah says they have eyes, لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا, and they don't perceive with those eyes. Allah does not say they don't see with those eyes. Allah uses the word basira, يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا. And basira in the Arabic language is قُوَّةُ الْقَلْبِ الْمُنَوَّرَ بِنُورِ الْقُدْسِ يُرَى بِهَا حَقَائِقَ الْأَشْيَاءِ وَبَوَاطِنُهَا. An illuminated heart that can see the apparent of things and can see the hidden of things. An illuminated heart, a heart that perceives. He has eyes, he does not perceive with those eyes. Allah says he has ears, he does not listen with those ears. Because of that, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. Allah says those people are like cattle. Then Allah negates and says, no, in fact they're worse than that. They're more astray than that. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. They're just a heedless people. There are people who waste their lives in unemployment and they follow themselves, their souls, their nafs, wherever the soul takes them. That's a danger. Ghafla. You know, look at the example Allah gives. You wouldn't even find a mouse, you wouldn't even find a rat that would dart out of its hole without first stopping at the entrance of the hole and sniffing right and sniffing left, because it's concerned about impending danger, isn't it? You wouldn't see that. It would wait and it would observe its surroundings, feel its surroundings, because it's scared maybe someone will trample me as soon as I got out. But what about the sons of Adam? We immerse ourselves in the fire. We willingly plunge and immerse and throw ourselves in the fire of hell. So who's more astray then? Is it us or is it the cattle? The example, the analogy Allah gives in the Quran. The Prophet of Allah said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. Take care of 5 things before 5 things strike you. اغتنم صحتك قبل سقمك. Take care of your health before you become sick. اغتنم شبابك قبل هرمك. Take care of your youth before you grow old. اغتنم فراغك قبل شغلك. Take care of your free time before you become occupied. اغتنم غناك قبل فقرك. Take care of your wealth before you become poor. اغتنم حياتك قبل موتك. And lastly, take care of your life before you die. Take care of your health before you become sick. Because how do you know when you become sick what you will be able to do, what you will not be able to do? Take care of your youth before you become old. How many an old man laments and mourns and wishes he was young once again, to have the energy and the time to do what he wants to do. Take care of your free time before you become busy. For how many a busy person wishes he was free to do what he wanted, worship Allah, spend his time doing things that he wants to do, but he can't because he's busy with other things. Take care of your wealth before you become poor. Go to YouTube, type in homelessness in Chicago, and you will weep tears. Type in homelessness in Chicago in YouTube, and you will weep tears, brothers and sisters. And it's not just limited to Chicago, it's everywhere in the world. But you will hear accounts, narratives, tales of people who had fancy apartments and so much, but now they live in sub-zero temperatures in the winter in Chicago. And many of whom die in that condition. And how they wish that they had their money once again, how they would preserve it, how they would look after it, how they wouldn't gamble, how they wouldn't just waste their money. Why? Because money is an amana, money is a trust from Allah. Just like your bodies, just like your children, just like your children, just like the parents of baby P. That's an amana, it's a trust from Allah. That baby was given as a trust from Allah. How would you deal with your trust, O son of Adam? Allah says in the Quran, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. I was telling my students that in a pre-Islamic Arabs used to bury their daughters alive. And they were astounded. Even the Muslims were like, well, really? Yes, they would. They would bury their daughters alive. They would dig the grave themselves and they would throw their daughters in the grave and they would bury them alive. And that was their culture, that was their tradition, that was their way. There was such a pity of the people, the Arabs, that when, people wouldn't even bother conquering them. These people would just finish themselves. They would destroy themselves. What a wretched people. But what did Allah give this wretched people? What did Allah give this pitiable, this humiliated people? Allah says in the Quran, and when the female child, when the child buried alive is asked for what crime she was slain. Upon hearing these verses, people embraced Islam in thousands because they related to that. Brothers, because everyone can relate to zulm, to injustice, right? You can relate to oppression, you can relate to injustice. And look at the words of Allah. When the female infant buried alive is asked for what crime she was killed. No crime at all. Take care of your free time before you become busy. Take care of your life before you die. Like the poet said, تَزَوَّدْ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا فَإِنَّكَ لَا تَدْرِي إِذَا جَنَّ لَيْلٌ هَلْ تَعِيشٌ إِلَى الْفَجْرِ وَكَمْ مِنْ عَرُوسٍ زَيِّنُوهَا لِزَوْجِهَا وَقَدْ نَسَجَتْ أَكْفَانُهَا وَهِيَ لَا تَدْرِي. Take your provisions from the world today because you don't know. You don't know if when the night envelops you, if you will survive till Fajr, the morning. You don't know that, right? We live in the sense of, well, I'm going to go home, there will definitely be food in my fridge. There will be clothes in my wardrobe, right? We live with this belief, there will definitely be that. I will go home, my parents will still be there, I will still be embraced, hugged, kissed, everything. But how on earth do you know that? How on earth do you know that? So when the night envelops, how do you know if you're going to survive till morning? For how many a bride beautified herself for her husband, but she did not know that her shroud was being prepared for her. Right? This coming weekend now. How many a woman, or a man for that matter, a year from now, 1 year ago, must have penned in her diary that, you know what, I'm going to marry you on this coming weekend. And so Saturday or Sunday will be the wedding occasion for so many people. But instead what happens? It's not her wedding dress that's prepared for her, it's her shroud that's being prepared for her. Because she won't make it to her wedding day. She won't make it to her wedding night. Her shroud instead is being prepared for her. وَكَمْ مِنْ صِغَارٍ يَرْتَجَى قَوْلَ أَعْمَارِهِمْ وَقَدْ أُدْخِلَتْ أَجْسَادِهِمْ غَلَمَةَ الْقَبْرِ. How many a child wished, anticipated to live for a very long time, but his small, meek, mild, tender, weak, innocent body entered the darkness of a grave. وَكَمْ مِنْ سَلِيمٍ مَاتٍ مِنَ غَيْرِ سَقْمٍ. How many a healthy person died without illness? How many a person who lived in a palace now lives in the confinements of a grave? This matter of death, brothers, was at the hearts of the companions, of the religion of the companions of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Meaning they were moved by it, really they were. Read their accounts, they were so moved by it.